Hello and welcome. This is Cashflow 2.0, the only podcast that walks you through the treacherous jungles of your financial statements and leads you on a path to not only overcoming some of the most costly mistakes that many new entrepreneurs make, but helps you make your money start working for you right now.
Sweet.
Join us today as Pam changes your financial future and makes finance fun.
Hi, and welcome back to the Cashflow podcast. We are broadcasting remotely today from Scottsdale, Arizona, where apparently your host is trying to escape from the frigid temperatures of the Northeast. And we are on topic today with investment of your finances in events, training, and masterminds. I think that this is one of the questions that entrepreneurs have regularly. And we all are somewhat wanderers, I think, in making sure that we get out there and engage with our peer entrepreneurs, but at the same time pick the mentors and coaches and events that provide us the greatest learning opportunity. The thing that we often neglect is we hear about a particular event and we hear somebody rant and rave about how wonderful it is. We don't necessarily look and say, if I invest in going to this event, or if I invest in joining this mastermind, or if I invest in this training, taking that pause to specifically say exactly what is my outcome for doing this. And I actually credit Michael Bernhoff, whose event I'm actually attending this week. It's the reason I'm in Arizona, for giving me the idea for this podcast and making sure that we all really begin to think this way. So we're going to talk today about how you can make sure that you get the return on your investment in all of those events, trainings, masterminds, etc., that are flashed in front of us literally every 5 or 10 seconds as we do our business, be it in Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Even if we are doing our business out in the real brick and mortar world, there are advertisements and encouragements to join and invest everywhere. We want to make sure that when you see these advertisements come across the screen, when you hear somebody say to you, you have to invest in this tomorrow, when you get that feeling that we all get, that this is the thing, this is the one thing that's going to catapult me over the edge, take the breath. You know and understand what each of those individual things offer, which is fantastic. But take the breath to step back and say, okay, I know what this particular training or mastermind or event offers, but what exactly am I going to do with it to grow my business? Now here I'm talking about entrepreneurs, right? So I'm not talking about personal development. A lot of times with personal development, we'll go to events or take trainings that don't necessarily add dollars and cents revenue to our bottom line, but instead will further our development, move us as leaders, increase our overall ability to deliver to our clients, add value for our employees, and make sure that we're moving our businesses in a profitable direction. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about leadership training or personal goal management training or time management training. I'm talking more about the events that we attend because we intend to network, get to know peers, get to know potential clients, or pick up a very specific skill that will help us in our business. And I want to give you an example. I am here, like I said, for these 4 days in Arizona at Michael Bernhoff's Human Interaction Training. And before I came here, before I signed up, I evaluated the price of the program and sat down and said, okay, I need to make sure that I get the same return on this investment of money as I would get on my investment of time in serving a client or doing more sales calls or managing my business if I weren't at the event. Now, in this particular case, I will say, and I'm not an affiliate or anything, but hands down, this training has been the best event that I have ever attended across the board, and I've attended many. So I've been a bit of a wanderer, as they say, when it comes to events and masterminds. And this has been the mastermind that has packed my toolkit full of things that I can take and use to grow and move my business forward. So if you don't know about human interaction technology and Michael Bernhoff, it's definitely worth looking up. But believe it or not, that's not the point of my engagement today. The point of this podcast is to talk to us about how we can really evaluate if we're going to get a return on the particular investment that we put into one of these events. So it's really pretty easy to think about, and I want to break it down into three pieces. And the three pieces are the investment, the actual event and interaction itself, and the follow-up. And the thing that we most often neglect to implement or focus on is that third piece. So let's just talk about it for a minute. If we have an investment, and let's say it is a $5,000 investment in, let's call it a training event, and say it's an event that you're going to go live. I want you to think about a few things. What is your total cost of this investment? It's not just the amount of money you're going to spend for the ticket to the event. That counts. So we're going to count that $5,000. But let's say you also have to physically travel to the event, and let's say that your airfare and hotel for a 2-day event is going to be $750. So now you're spending $5,750. Then additionally, what you want to do is evaluate the cost of your not being at home working in your business or at your office working in your business for those 2 days. So here's the piece that a lot of people miss. If, for example, in a typical 2 days at the office, you are either doing the work to produce a product for your clients that makes, let's just say it's $1,000 a day, or making or building out the infrastructure to attract new clients or convert leads or build out your sales funnel or whatever it is that you're doing to market your business, you need to add a couple of $1,000s for the 2 days you're going to miss to the cost of the event. So if we assume that for 2 days you'll lose $2,000, this is making a very, arbitrary assumption that your business is earning about $360,000 in revenue a year, $350,000 to $400,000. And you're going to lose $2,000 in the time that you invest in this event. And one of the things I'll definitely say about events is, as much as I plan at an event to come and work around the perimeter for the 8 or 10 hours that I'm not sleeping or not physically attending the event, the reality of that is you really only get 2 to 4 hours a day out of most events to attend to that sort of activity. So just to make sure that I'm being as accurate as I can in my estimates, I presume that I will not be able to work for the whole of those 2 days. Now, don't get defensive here, because I know that you're saying, well, it's not wasted time. I'm meeting new people. I'm gathering leads, etc. Hold that thought for a minute, because we're going to get to that. So, point one, how much am I investing? I'm investing $5,000 for the ticket to the event. I'm investing $750 in travel, meals, and hotel. And I'm investing another $2,000 of my time that I would have spent elsewhere. So we are at $7,750. So if my desired return on that investment is just 1x, if I just want to get back the money that I've spent, I need to know that directly from my involvement in that event, I'm going to make $7,750. Now, usually when we invest $1, we expect to get back more than just that dollar. Otherwise, it's just like, stashing cash under our mattress and letting inflation eat away at its value. So let's just pretend that we expect a little more than that. And as business owners who are high-risk business owners, and we expect that what we do is going to get us a significant return, let's say we expect to get at least 2x back. We expect to get double back what we spend on a particular event. So the $7,750 turns into $15,500. So I know that from my participation in this event, I need to make at least $15,500. Plain and simple. Now, There are a number of ways that we can calculate this return, but one of the things that I'd suggest you do is put a time parameter on it. So what I would say is if I'm going to invest $7,750 and I expect to make back $15,500, what's the time limit I'm going to put on that? I need to make that money back in, and I'm just picking this out of the air, 90 days. I have an amazing mentor, Angela Loria, who taught me that one of the things you can do in your business is try a new idea for 90 days. If it works, you improve it and implement it full time, and if it doesn't work, you pull the plug and move on to the next thing. So I like to use that 90-day window to evaluate whether something is going to get me the return I need. So if I'm going to a $7,750 event, and I need to make $15,500 back in 3 months. That's my general rule there. So that's not, by any stretch of the imagination, a fixed formula. You may have different expectations for investment of your time and money. Some people expect to get 5 or 10 times back what they spend on an event, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It depends on where you are in your business and what maybe non-hard dollar value you might get out of a particular event. So that is totally up to you. But, thing one is, yes, what is it I'm going to spend? Thing two is, what am I going to do to get what I need out of that event? So what is the return that I expect and how am I going to get it? So let's just say in this example, I sell a $5,000 product. I know that I want to sell at least 3 of those, probably 4, as a result of having attended this event. Now, there are a number of different ways that you can make money from this sort of thing. So the most obvious, of course, is you meet some leads there. They're in your ideal client description, and you get 10 leads and you sell 3 of them. Bang, boom, done, $15,000. But that's not always the situation. One of the things that I do is I keep a mind map of all of the people that I've met and the people to whom each of them has led me. And it's a fascinating thing to look back on, because what has often happened is I will meet somebody at an event and I won't necessarily get business from them. But as a result of knowing them, I may meet 3 or 4 or 5 new people and get business from them, or do a partnership with one of them, or find a more cost-efficient way to do something that I've been spending a lot of money for. So I just want to really emphasize that getting your $15,500 out of an event does not necessarily mean that you spend $15,500 in product with the people that were in attendance at that event. There are more indirect ways that you may also see a return on that event. But the third thing that I pointed out, once you've calculated your investment, once you've calculated what you expect to get in return, is follow-up. If you don't follow up on, number 1, the things you learn at the event and use them in your business, number 2, the contacts you make at that event. If you don't follow up on those, then everything is wasted. And your $7,500 or $7,750 doesn't get a 2x return. It doesn't get a 1x return. It ends up just being wasted. You don't want that $7,750 to just be an expense that you've spent for no return. You want it to be an investment. So definitely get back and mark down the follow-up that's going to ensure that you get back the $15,500 that you're expecting. Or, in your case, maybe it's $30,000, maybe it's $40,000. I have plenty of clients who expect a much higher return than just 2x on these sorts of investments. And I know I just used an event as an example, but the same thing completely holds for a mastermind, for a training course that you buy online. Any money that you're spending, from $200 to $100,000 for a coach, you want to be sure and sit back and do two things. One is calculate what return you expect to get, and two is follow through on the activities that you need to follow through on to make sure you get that return. So that's just a few thoughts from the desert while I am attending an event and marking down my path forward here to make sure that I get back for my investment in this event every penny plus, and I happen to use 3x as my return expectation. As it turns out, for this particular event, I think it will be significantly more than that, but there are plenty of events where I just say it only needs to be 2x or 3x. So I hope this has been helpful to you all. I think that in our world today, we are all challenged with tons of advertising and encouragement to get involved. And hopefully this gives you all the insight you need to make your choices around events, masterminds, and trainings. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next